Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a information and communication technology paper. It's a ICT paper walkthrough for paper 1 theory paper for the code 0417/12. This is a May-June 2021 series. The paper is for 2 hours and it counts for I think this is the main important paper for ICT. So you should be knowing all the contents from units 1 to 21, Excel parts, but in terms of theory form. So you must use a black pen, okay? Write your name, center number, okay, those any informative information. Total mark for this paper is 100. Okay, let's start with the first question. It's a tick question. I've seen this similar to the other components as well, so let's start with it. So it's to tick whether the following are examples of control, measurement, or modeling applications. This comes under the units, so it's under applications unit. So for personal finance, it's more of a modeling application. Whether forecasting is more of a modeling application as well. Burglar alarms is a control application. Weather stations are a measurement application because you're measuring the weather. Forecasting is modeling. Okay, so that's for 4 marks. You can easily score that. Now, so for the next question, so circle 2 items that can be used to output data directly from a smartphone. Okay, so 2 items that can be used to output data. So among this, it looks like the speaker outputs the analog to digital, right? So the speaker is like from digital to analog. Okay, and we have screen, which shows us the digital display. All right. Okay. Next question is, one of the uses of a smartphone is sending and receiving of emails. Describe 4 other uses of a smartphone. So the first use, it could be like we use the GPS, right? So like Google Maps to get around places. Then the other main important one is telephone, right? Such as internet banking or calling, such as calling. You could just message that. The main other uses maybe text messaging, like you're messaging your friends or anybody those around you. And the other main important thing is like making videos, right? Streaming videos, like how I'm doing right now. So streaming and making videos, content for you guys. All right. Making videos and taking photos. Okay, you can also put that in place. Okay, next question is tick. Okay, there's a lot of tick questions here. So tick the most appropriate storage medium that should be used in each scenario. So the scenario here is given to us to store the current instructions in use by a computer. Okay, now this is really important. This is a RAM, okay, because you want to store current instructions which are in temporary in use, okay? So now to back up data, this is usually done by the magnetic tape, which is used in school network systems to store huge amounts of data. And to store data temporarily is RAM again, and to store startup instructions is ROM. So this is mainly content learning for 4 marks. So pretty easy at start. So let's move on to the next one. So the act of gaining unauthorized access to a computer system is called hacking. So you just need to choose one word from this. The software that gathers data by monitoring key presses. This is always spyware. And a fake text message that could contain a link such as to a mobile phone. Now we have to understand this if it's phishing, pharming, or smishing, right? So because this is a fake text message that connects a link, this is usually smishing. Pharming and phishing are usually all sent through emails. Smishing is through text message, alright? Okay, next one. This is a database question. Like I said, the ICT theory paper will cover units from topic 1 to topic 22, I think, chapter 22. So you have to be well versed in all the areas of the ICT questions. So this is mainly from databases. So question 5, they show us a table, and they're asking us to enter data types. Okay, so they must be different. For any numeric field, specify the type of number. Okay, so we have to write the data types. So for a number of moons, this is numeric because they're saying for numeric fields. So I'm just going to write numeric, and this is going to be an integer because it cannot be decimal because it can't be 2.2. Number of moons is specific, so it's a whole number, integer. orbital period. Now this could vary, so this is numeric as well. However, this is not an integer, it's a decimal. So for the number of moons, it's very specific. I mean, it's not possible to have 2.6 moons, so 2 moons would be the best. Rings is now whether they have rings. So if you look at the table as well, they can give you an assumption. Just look at the table. The number of moons is all in integers, and the orbital period is in decimal. So they are indirectly like giving you the answer. So you just need to observe it. So as you can see from the table rings, it shows it's N and Y. This just means no, yes. So this is a Boolean. The name of the planet. Now this is usually text. So name of the planet, that should be here. Okay. Name of planet, this is usually text, so there's nothing else to it. So that's 4 marks, easy marks scored. Operators, okay, next question. Operators such as and or not like can be used to search for Peter's planet database. There's a type of a planet, so this is like a searching criteria. Write down searching criteria that'll produce a list of planets that are not gas giants but have at least 1 moon and were first observed by after 1800. So this is the observed table, and then they're asking us for that are not gas giants, so that's maybe type of planets, and they at least have 1 moon. So we're looking at the number of moons, that the type of planet that should be a gas giant, and the name of the planet. So for this one, we have to write, so first one, we're just going to go with the type of planet. That's the first thing that we're going to go. So the type of planet, so type underscore of planet, just write everything that it is not equal. This is not equal. It should not be equal to gas giant. Okay, anything that is not of gas giant. So this criteria will print everything that is not of gas giant, and you can mention that just like this. They're giving you an example. And you can just say, and the number of moons. Write everything down. This is for 7 marks, so it's pretty vital that you understand this question. So the number of moons should be greater than or equal to 1, because they're specifying here it should have at least 1 moon. So it has to be something above 1, or it should be greater than 1, nothing below it. And at the same time, you have to say and, because you're looking at the observation. So you just write the same field name. So that's here, it's first observed. So you just write and first observed. First observed, it should be after 1800, right? So that's greater than 1800. So for 7 marks, that's a lot of marks. So very good marks is for writing the ands, and then your other marks is for writing type of planet, and the other marks is for the symbol as well as the gas giant. And similar goes, but for 7 marks, wow, this is pretty awesome. So to score those marks, you just put in criteria. This just means something that is not, it just represents not. Okay, and you just write all the field names that are like in the table above. Don't change them. Just write your criteria based on the text that they have given you. Next question is to write down the names of the planets that are not gas giants but have at least 1 moon and were first observed after 1800. Okay, so now this question, it does not ask us to write criteria here. They're just writing the names of the planets. So we have to see that something that is not a gas giant as well as having 1 moon. So immediately, something that's not a gas giant, so we're just going to check out if it's Mars, Ceres, or Pluto, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, so they should have at least 1 moon. So Ceres cannot be in the criteria, so cross that out. It cannot be Saturn nor Neptune. They don't have 1 moon. So what's the other criteria they're looking for? So the next criteria is something that is after 1800, right? So it cannot be Mars because it's below 1800. So it's definitely Pluto and Haumea, I think. So you just write Pluto. These are the things that are printed, and Haumea. Okay, Haumea. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Now Peter has copied the data from the orbital period field into a spreadsheet. The data for the orbital period for Mars is 1.88 and is stored in cell A2. In cell B2, he has entered a function of round A2 to 0. Explain in detail the function that is used in cell B2. So now this round function is something that's part or it's taught in Excel. So we have to understand that the value of anything that's stored in A2, it will be rounded off to about 0 decimal places. So the value stored, you can just write like this: the value stored in cell A2, right, would be changed into value that contains 0 decimal places, because it's specified here 0. So if I write like maybe A3 comma 1, this will round it off to maybe 1 decimal place, depending on the criteria given. Okay, 0. So if it's, in this case, if it's A2 to 0, it's specifying to 0 decimal places that we're rounding off the answer. For 2 marks, you can score those marks. That's pretty good. Next question is about advantages and disadvantages of using unmanned aircraft rather than using manned aircraft. So unmanned aircraft is something that's, I think they're just flying airplanes digitally, I think, without the use of humans being involved in any of the flying. So this is very beneficial in terms of storms, to collect wind speeds and temperature data in order to prevent human injury. So this is very good. I mean, however, there might be some cases where people may have personal opinions towards the safety while they're flying, right? So they're asking us to compare the advantages and disadvantages. So firstly, we're just going to write the advantages of okay, I'm just going to write this in terms of sentences because this is 8 marks, so they're asking us to have 8 points. So what I'm going to go for is like 4 points for the advantages and 4 points for the disadvantages, just to score those good 8 marks. So some of the advantages, start by writing this. Some of the advantages of using unmanned aircraft. So now this can be in different scenarios. Maybe they can start with cars, so it's your choice how you're going to answer this, but they're going to give a scenario where you have to analyze and compare them. So some of the advantages of using unmanned aircraft is that it's less expensive. It's less expensive to fly the aircraft, because it requires skill, right? Then there's, like I said, less risk of human injury. Since there are no pilots flying it, right? You can just mention that. It can be flown closer to the storm, and the readings can be taken more accurately. And the readings can be taken more accurately since they are sensors, right? So we can get more accurate results more accurately and more frequently. So there you go, 4 points for writing their advantages. Now you can just include a transition word as well. So if you want to include like however, unmanned aircraft has some disadvantages, just write that down there, such as you can mention that the sensors could malfunction, right, during the flight. Could malfunction, that's one keyword that you can write there, during flight as well. And you can mention that signal lost, you can just mention that keyword, signal lost. And less responsive, since it's sensors, right? Less responsive. It may be slower to react due to electrical interference. So there you go. Scoring those 8 marks is pretty vital when doing GCSE's ICT, right? So you have mentioned that the sensors could malfunction. You have mentioned that the signal may be lost, maybe slower because of the electric ranges, and it could be less responsive. You mentioned that as well, slower to react. Alright, so now next question, for the 7th question, is that the owner of Tavara Hotels is planning computerized booking system. So that's a keyword itself. It's a booking system, and it comes under booking systems. When analyzing the current booking systems, the system analyst must identify the user's requirements. Now explain why is it important for the system analyst to do this, right? So why do they need a system analyst? It's a question that, because the system analyst is creating he's creating a system that's for the people, right? So he's creating, and it's important to meet the needs of the user and to customize it, right? So you could just say that the system analyst, let's just reload that part. So the system analyst creates a system for the client in order to meet his needs, right? In order to meet his needs and of the users, right? And the system's job is to reduce costs if the new system matches the existing hardware and software. So let's say that it's more efficient system that's produced, and that's what the users want. So system analyst helps to customize the system, helps customize and create more efficient system. You can mention that as well. Then you can say that it also helps to reduce costs. If new system manufacturers, right, it matches existing hardware and software. I'm just gonna write H and S just to represent hardware and software. Okay, next question is 7B. Okay, we have, again, there's a lot of tables on this question for 4 marks, so that's pretty good actually, guys. So identifying the problems of the current system, right? So this is in which stage? This is coming under system life cycle. You need to know this in and out. So it's coming under an analysis, comparing the solution with the original task requirements. It's more like evaluation. Creating a file structure is more like development and testing. Identify limitations. This is all done while evaluating, okay? So there you go, 4 marks already easily scored. See, before a new booking system is installed, the system analyst must decide on a method of implementation. So this comes again for system life cycle for 6 marks. This is pretty worth it to understand this. So one method of implementation is pilot running. Name some 2 other methods of implementation and describe the benefits. So there are 3 benefits. If you say there's one called that's direct changeover, then there's something called parallel running and phased changeover. So I'm gonna write the first changeover is called direct changeover, where we immediately change over from the old system to the new system. So benefits are what are the benefit? One, let's say that costs cheaper. It's cheaper, right? Because cheaper, since one system is required, it requires one. Since one system is required. Benefit 2, it requires fewer staff, but the main key point is it's really fast because you're changing the old system to a new system. So the benefits are immediate, right? Immediate response, immediate changeover benefits. Immediate changeover benefits, that could be one point as well. Then the other one is parallel running. So parallel running is where the old system runs along with the new system. So this is pretty good actually. The benefit is if the new system that's being implemented fails, right? The old system is still there running. As long as the new system is still running as well. The new system fails, old system, there's a backup. Old system can be used as backup. Remember this point, can be used as backup, and there's possibly to it's more easy changeover, like from slowly you're implementing the new system. So it's possible to gradually train staff as the new system is being implemented. It's possible to gradually train staff, you can say, as new system is being initiated. These are some keywords I can write. This is a pretty easy exam. I mean, you guys can do well. I know that. Initiated. Now the other one is called phase changeover. Phase changeover is that if the new system fails, the only one part of it is affected. So it's used to ensure that the part of the system is fully operational before moving on to the next part. And it's easy to train staff as well as parallel running. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Is about students using IT equipment. Okay, so evaluate your own use on good physical safety strategy. In terms of physical safety, this comes under physical safety. I think it's involved in electrocution, fire hazards, and all strategies that you will need to minimize the potential safety risks. So you need to give like some of the evaluate your own use of IT equipment in terms of physical safety and describe the strategies you will need to minimize. So for example, like overheating the circuit. So you can do that by using less components that are attached to the circuit. So for 6 marks, you have to give one reason, and then you have to give one statement as well as reason behind it. So let's understand this. So what we're gonna do is, first reason is gonna be to make sure all wires are placed under carpets, right? Are placed under carpets. Okay, so this is one point I'm writing. To make sure all wires are placed under carpets to reduce tripping hazards. That itself scores you like 2 marks straight. Alright? Your next point is to make sure no drinks, right? No drinks or food is brought near computers. This is another point. Is brought near computers to prevent electrocution, because to prevent electrocution, right? Then talking about the socket thing, about the circuits, right? So plug in, you can just mention that, plug in only one plug per socket. Okay, don't overdo it. So to reduce chances of fire. So this itself gives you 2 marks as well, and 2 marks for that point as well, total 6 marks, right? Now describe 2 uses of the company intranet. Don't think it's intranet, so it's intranet. It's a different thing altogether. I think it's internet. Maybe let's see. Okay, so it's to send and receive emails. Send and receiving emails, and you can also say send and receiving. These are some 2 answers that you can write. Send and receiving files. So it doesn't matter if you say receiving emails; they don't care about it. So it allows the creation of extranets, I think. So surf internet internal information could be another point, or you could just say sharing resources. That's also fine. You could just say sharing. Let me just write that. Sharing resources. You could just say that as well. Sharing resources. Okay, next one. This is actually a 2-hour paper. It's pretty long, but it's pretty easy as well at the same time, so you guys can do it. Now, social networking is used to communicate with friends. Now, this is one use of the internet. Now, describe 4 other uses of the internet. So, what do you use the internet? These are like basic general questions. So, if I'm asking you, what do you use the internet for? So, you might use the internet for emails, right? To use it to do gaming. Gaming is another thing you use internet for streaming, just like how I make these YouTube videos for streaming. Like that's a keyword that you can say. And for file transferring, right? They do this a lot in companies, so file transferring is important as well. Now 6, a major part of the everyday use of the internet is social networking. Currently some social networks are not policed. Okay, this is more like data protection laws. It's more there. So the owners of the website have full description on what material is removed and on what is allowed to be kept. Discuss the benefits and drawbacks of policing social networking sites. This could be like maybe Facebook, Instagram, maybe more likely. So this is for 8 marks, so this is a lot of points, but you need to like I said, the benefits. So the benefits, you can just start with 4 benefits. Always go like this: 4 benefits, 4 drawbacks. If you want to be on the safe side, you can just write 5 points for each. That can give you that total 8 marks on the safe side. So the benefits are to reduce the cyberbullying, which affects many people. So to reduce that cyberbullying, to reduce cyberbullying or hate speech or something like that. Helps to reduce social media use for illegal activities as well. Social media used for illegal activities, right? Then reduce trolling, that could be another point as well. Reduce trolling and prevent people from inappropriate, or prevent people from seeing hurtful messages, right? Hurtful messages. That could be the benefits of policing the internet, social networking sites. However, you can just mention the consequences. The consequences, right? However, the consequences are, this is basic, like the freedom of speech is reduced, right? That's what Elon Musk is trying to bring back in Twitter. So the freedom of speech is reduced, and would be very so bringing back freedom of speech is very important for humanity. So freedom of speech is a good thing. So, but in this case, if they police social networking sites, the freedom of speech is more likely to be limited in this case. It would be difficult, right? Because time consuming and cost effective is another category. It's going to be very costly because it's going to be difficult to police huge amounts of information that's being uploaded every single day. So to police massive amount of information being posted, and then it's very costly. That could be another point as well. You can write there, it's very costly, and it could force other individuals to use unpoliced methods of communication, which could be illegal as well, again, in one way. And the privacy issues, right? This could be another thing that people are concerned about, privacy issues. So these are some 8 marks I can say. It could be anonymous. I think it's like that. So privacy issues, then decide on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. It's more like controlling someone. So preferably don't do that. Okay. So the next question is, describe the advantages to both the company and the employees of changing work patterns due to the introduction of computers. So what are the advantages to the employees? So the 6 marks again. So how do you divide this? 6 marks is 3 marks for the company, advantages for the company, 3 marks for the employees. So you could just mention the benefits for employees. 3 marks there. So benefits for employees, I'm just going to call this employees. Employees are, they're more flexible timing, right? It's more flexible and more work done. They can concentrate better. Concentration increase. You can mention that, concentration increase as well. That's an important part. Concentration increase. Then less stressful, right? Because since they have a laptop, computers make it easier for them to avoid rush in the morning and start less stressful as work is started earlier. Okay. Now, what are the benefits to the company? Now, for the company, it's more likely to be profit, right? So working from home allows the company to enable their employee selection, right? Enables companies' employee selection growth. Employees selection growth, right? Selection growth. And working from home allows the company to save costs. It saves huge amounts of costs, like for rental spaces, and they don't need large offices. So it saves, that's another main point you can write down. It saves cost as Large offices, you could just mention that offices they aren't needed. All right. Then job sharing, like job sharing can also reduce costs. So cost is more cost effective as it helps a company to retain their employees and they're more likely to be motivated. Reduce costs and leads to let's say, and it leads to motivated employees. That's really good part. So now when next portion is 5 marks is when an email is sent, it could have digital certificate attached. Right, explain why digital certificate is required. Include your answer items that could be including your answer items that could be found in the digital certificate. So for this question, you can say that for 4 points you can write here is that it adds level of security and verifies the trusted source, verifies that the email comes from a trusted source, verifies email comes from a trusted source, provides the receiver a private key which helps to maintain security, provides the receiver with private key and uses secure SSL connections, right? Alright, connections. Next one is that a public key is also used, just keep it, and as well as the subject name. You can just mention that, you get that 5 marks. Okay, you can say public key and serial number. Alright, okay, this is some points I can write there, or you can say the details of the owner of the digital certificate, right? Next one is search engines. Okay, describe the disadvantages of using search engines to find information rather than typing a web address. So that's pretty awesome. It's that it could lead to disadvantages. It could lead to information overload. Maybe the websites at the top of the list may not be relevant to what you're looking for, right? Top of the list may be not relevant, so then more irrelevant information, so it's going to be there, irrelevant information, and the website loads. If website loads faster, it's just given priority. It may be paid and may be costly. All right. Okay, now explain. Now next question is about a student is writing a project on rare animals. He uses the search engine to find the information about the animals from the internet. He's considerate about the reliability of some of the information he has found. Explain how he would evaluate the reliability of this information. So now for this information, you can check the author of the website. You can check the author, right? That's the first thing you can do. You can check the author, and you can check the website itself. Check the website's URL if it's legal itself. Websites, just check the website's final part. That's website's domain name of the URL. See if it's legal, okay? Of the URL, for example, you can mention like it could be .ec or .org, just to see the reliability. Check if it's like endorsed by. Check if it is endorsed by well-known brands. Check if the comments are good, right? Check the reviews are good. The reviews are real and good. You can mention that as well. Check the website has external like excessive advertising. If there's a lot of advertising, you know that it's a fishy website. So the first thing you can do is say you have to check the author, check the website. That's 2 points already. You can check the domain name, 3 points. You can check if it's endorsed by any brands. So that's 4 points. Check the reviews. That's 3 points. And you can check check the spelling mistakes. That's an important thing. Like when we do Word documents, we check the spelling mistakes, or we check the grammatical errors in the document itself. Grammatical errors in the document or in the website, okay, of the content, basically, of the information in the website itself. So that should score you some 6 marks. That's pretty good. Next question is about a student plans to create a table using word processing software. Again, this comes under the Word document to display information about what's found about the animal. Explain how the student can create a table to enter this data. So first thing, you can select the position of the table. You can select the position for the table. And just click insert. I mean, that's the only thing. Click on insert in Word document, then table. All right, in table, and you just type in the data. I mean, that's a type in data. Now the student saved a picture from the internet of a tiger coal. Explain how you could create a new row about the pouch row and place the picture into the right hand cell of this new row. So this is more likely you're gonna highlight. So he saved a picture. Okay, he wants to create a new row above this row. So do you guys see the row here? So he wants to create a new row above pouch row and place the image into the right hand side of this new row. So that's basically on this side. So what he could do is he could highlight the scientific name row and click. So this could be one there are 2 ways in doing this. Okay, so for 4 marks, I'm gonna stick with this method. You're gonna highlight the pouch row. That's gonna highlight all of the section here. Okay, you're gonna highlight the pouch row. This is done in Word document, so if you guys need to understand that, maybe just comment below. Highlight the pouch row and just right click with your mouse, right, with the mouse. I mean, there's nothing else. Right click in the mouse or trackpad and select insert. Okay, what you need to do is then click insert row above, insert new row above. All right, or that could be another option where you have to highlight. You could either highlight this. Is there a highlighter? Just to check. So you could either highlight this portion here. Okay, the highlighter doesn't seem to work, so just leave it. Okay, so what you can do is, or you could just highlight the scientific name row. So you could just highlight the scientific name row and then right click with the mouse again. Right click. These are 2 ways of doing this. And right click and then select insert and just say click insert new row below. Insert new row below, right? And then what you need to do is, finally, for both of these texts, if you're applying either this method or this method, you have to click insert pictures, locate the pictures in your file, locate pictures in file, and just upload it and insert the picture. That's it. That's 4 marks. You score. That's pretty like the practical version of doing Word documents, of uploading a photo and inserting a new row in the table. So you're just explaining how you're highlighting the cells, you're right clicking it, and you're inserting a new row within the table itself, whether it's below or above, depending on the position of the highlighted row. And all you need to do is you just need to click insert pictures, just select the picture and then insert the picture again, and then just go ahead and just format the picture if you want to. So now this seems to be the end of the paper. So I hope so you all enjoyed this video, and please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It will really help a lot. And please do comment on the video if you guys have any questions or doubts on any past papers or any subjects that you want me to solve on. I mainly do for computers and sciences and physics, and maths as well. Moving on with ICT as well. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can just comment below and just ask me to solve some of these questions. I'll try to do my best, and hopefully good luck to all those who are doing the ICT exam tomorrow. So good luck, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please do share this video. That's it. I think that's it, right? Bye, guys.